Hello everyone, in this video we'll find out if it's possible to beat Batman Arkham Origins without making any upgrades. Before we begin with the challenge, let's quickly go through the rules, and they are pretty simple. The only rule is that I am not allowed to make any upgrades to Batman whatsoever, whether those are gadget upgrades or upgrades on the Batsuit itself. That being said, I am allowed to pick up new gadgets because without them the game would be impossible to complete. With the rules out of the way, we can begin with the challenge. We begin in Blackgate prison where there is an ongoing riot. I found the warden being threatened by some guy, so I decided to save him. So naturally the warden thanked me by trying to kill me with a pipe. The rest of Blackgate prison was pretty easy. I threatened some mobsters, I beat up a few people, I had a great time. Everything was going wonderful until my fight with the Killer Croc. I even got to punch a guy so hard that he disappeared into nothingness. The issue is that Killer Croc also disappeared for some reason and started glitching all over the place, resulting in a glitching Killer Croc trying to bite my face off. That being said, considering that this is the first boss battle of the game, you are supposed to beat it without having any upgrades, so it wasn't that difficult to deal with the Croc. I rewarded Croc for the fight with some free dental work. Unfortunately, I punched him one too many times and he got knocked out before I could get any useful information out of him. I escaped Blackgate prison and went to recover one of the radio towers, where I also had the Predator tutorial and even rescued a few hostages to make things even better. I fixed the radio tower and met with the bane of my existence, Enigma. In all of my other challenges I was never able to gather all of his Riddler trophies, but considering that this was our first meeting, I was hoping that he wouldn't know about the fact that the cryptographic sequencer had a very limited range, which would prevent me from collecting trophies that are further away. I then had to interrupt an arms deal made by the Penguins guys. However, I decided that I had much more important things to do, such as the AR challenges, even though Batman was insisting that we had to go to the arms deal and we're gonna miss it if we don't hurry up. I don't even know why Batman was so worried. We arrived just in time and I even managed to beat up all of the goons and torture the main guy. I even threatened to throw him off a rooftop unless he told me where the Penguin was. I learned where the Penguin was hiding, but before dealing with him I had to deal with another radio tower. After which I headed for the final offer where I got to beat up even more henchmen. Everything was going great until I met with one of the assassins Black Mask had sent against me. I was terrified. This was an actual supervillain I was about to fight, not just some stupid sewer alligator. My batarangs were useless, so was my Batclaw. I tried spraying him with the explosive gel, but that also failed miserably. Nothing seemed to work against the guy. As a last ditched effort I decided to kick him in the face and that knocked him out. Wow, this guy's pathetic. Even the sewer alligator was stronger than this guy. Hell, Tracy would be a bigger challenge. And all she does is send more people to fight against me. And even though I defeated all of her henchmen and I'm much stronger than her, Tracy still didn't go down without a fight. She tried to kill me up until the very end. Not something I could say about the electrocutioner. Now that guy was pathetic. Even the sewer alligator is tougher than him, and Tracy is even tougher than Croc. In all honesty, Tracy should be the Penguin's boss. She should be the Penguin, not that stupid idiot Oswald. I then went through another Predator encounter and at first was concerned about this guy's vision because there was no way he could not see me, but then he got launched in the air somehow and I started worrying that I killed the guy. I captured Cobblepot. Unfortunately, before I had the opportunity to take care of him, I was ambushed by Deathstroke, which resulted in one of the best fights of the game. Unlike everything else up to this point, the Deathstroke fight was very difficult, because for some reason sometimes Batman decided not to use the block button despite me telling him to. Another thing that was hurting me is that Deathstroke was doing a lot of damage and I had no health upgrades, but eventually I managed to defeat him and I even robbed the guy by stealing his remote claw. The Penguin told me to go to Lacey Towers where apparently the Black Mask got killed, but I saw the guy earlier that day so I knew that wasn't true, so instead I decided to go after some guy called Anarchy that had planted bombs all over the city. I found Anarchy and fought against all of his goons. After I beat up all of them, it turned out that the guy was just a kid. How did the kid get all the money for 3 bombs and a whole squad of henchmen? He was begging for mercy and for me to not hurt him anymore because he was just a kid, but the hammers of justice do not forgive anyone. After I was done beating up the child, I decided to go to Lacey Towers and follow up the trail that the Penguin left me. That led me nowhere, so I decided to go to the GCPD and do nothing to contradict the suspicions that I was just a criminal like the others. Right as they were about to capture me, I was saved by a magical elevator that appeared out of nowhere and for no reason. It wasn't like anyone called it. I entered the room and it was already opening its doors for me. That was very convenient because it saved me from Brandon and his guys. I met with Commissioner Gordon and he did literally nothing in order to stop me or arrest me in any way. He even stopped his guys from arresting me. I don't know why he did it, but he's an idiot and he should definitely not be promoted to Commissioner after Loeb died earlier today. I still needed to find Black Mask, and to do that I needed access to the criminal database, which for some reason was in the sewers and wasn't even protected by that many people. In fact, none of them were actually policemen, they were all Black Mask thugs. Thanks to the criminal database, I realized that Black Mask would hit Gotham's Merchants Bank, but it wasn't like I was in a hurry to do anything, so I decided to destroy the life of the Penguin first by destroying all of his guns, and then bully the Mad Hatter for a while because he annoyed me. Wasting all this time turned out to be a very bad decision because, as it turned out, it wasn't Black Mask who was behind the assassins, it was actually a guy called the Joker, and he had captured the bank's manager, who he then killed in front of my face. I then headed for the steel mill. There were only henchmen with guns in there, so very easy to deal with considering that they weren't very smart. Inside of the steel mill I found the real Roman Sionis, but I got too distracted by beating him up, so Copperhead managed to poison me. But apparently because I'm Batman, that poison didn't do anything to me and I was able to destroy Copperhead without any issues. And when I actually got my hands on the cure, Copperhead got so embarrassed that she pulled a killer croc and disappeared. Honestly, I don't blame her. She had me poisoned and still couldn't defeat me. And not only that, Alfred managed to make a cure for her poison in like 2 minutes. This kinda broke the game because I never completed the objective of apprehending Copperhead, so the main story kinda got stuck there for a while. I tried my best to summon her back, but she wouldn't reappear, so I decided to just leave the steel mill and go do some side quests until she decided to come back. So I destroyed Black Mask's drugs, collected plenty of the extortion files, even convinced Shiva to give up on the prize money for my head. Eventually I had nothing better to do with my life, so I decided to go back to the steel mill and try to get rid of Copperhead. This literally broke the game because aside from one door there was nothing visible, and somehow Batman beat up the air, which led me to capturing Copperhead and being able to proceed ahead with the story. With everything back to normal, I headed for the Gotham Royal Hotel, where I hacked into the security system and watched as the Joker had a meeting with the rest of the assassins. And is that Shiva? I thought we were good with her. What kind of betrayal is this? Ra's al Ghul will definitely hear about that. I was so shocked that I wasn't even faced when the Joker killed the electrocutioner. But I bet he would soon regret that because thanks to him I acquired the electric gloves, without which I would have been screwed otherwise, so thanks Joker, very nice of you. I continued ascending the hotel and for once decided to use the elevator, which immediately backfired because Bane somehow knew I was there already, so he absolutely annihilated me, which somehow didn't kill me, even though regular punches by some crooks kill me from time to time if I get hit like 5 times. I had a nice little tea party with the Joker, who was blowing up buildings left, right and center, and then had to fight with Bane for the first time. Now this fight was probably the most difficult one in the game, and the reason for that was not only the fact that he can hit you twice and kill you, but once he starts using Venom as well, there are a lot of henchmen constantly trying to ruin your day and block you from running away when he tries to charge at you, which is what makes this fight more difficult than it has any right to be. I defeated Bane and he got so scared of me that he ran away. And then for some inexplicable reason I had a flashback of the Joker becoming the Joker. But then even weirder, I had a flashback of how Batman's parents were killed. That was the most random flashback of them all. After the flashback you acquire the glue grenade, meaning that you can get all the Enigma data packs, and I found Deathstroke still lying there unconscious. This was hours after our fight. Should I be concerned? I didn't snitch on him because he gave me such a nice fight, but maybe I should call a doctor, even if he gets arrested because of it. Alfred told me to stay away from Bane because he was too strong for me, and I kinda agreed with him, but he never said anything about not going against Deadshot. So I took care of Deadshot. It was extremely easy because he never brings reinforcements if you don't take out the first 5 guys he's hanging out with, and so if you only pay attention to him, the guys aren't that big of a deal and you can easily take care of Deadshot. The other henchmen even disappear when you take him out. While doing side quests, I heard that Bane might be dead. I rushed to the morgue to see if that was true. Unfortunately, it was just some random guy that was abusing Titan as well. Disappointed, I still looked into his computer and found out where Bane was hiding, and to make sure he won't be home, I took out his right hand man, who was called Bird. Wait a minute, shouldn't this guy be the right hand man of the Penguin? I waited for Bane to go out in order to deal with his henchmen, and then I realized that I made a terrible mistake. He actually knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman, and I just made it personal with him. That was bad. Alfred was in grave danger, and it was all my fault. Why did I have to go after his henchmen? I couldn't let Alfred get hurt. Unfortunately, I got delayed because Firefly threatened to blow up the bridge unless somebody accepted his offer to take a joyride on his jetpack, and everybody was too scared to do it. I didn't blame them, that guy was crazy. Maybe even crazier than the Joker, so I decided that it would be easier to disarm the bombs. I had some time to spare. It's not like Bane is from Gotham and knows where Wayne Manor is, and even if he manages to find it by chance, why would he even decide to check for a bat cave? It's not like bats live in caves. Everything was going great until Firefly realized what I was doing and forced me to take the joyride with him. And just as expected, this thing took away like 20 years from my life. Satisfied, Firefly told me that he would leave Gotham but come back in like 10 years in order to do it again. That was definitely not something I was gonna look forward to. I then rushed towards the manor in order to make sure that Alfred was safe, but Bane was already there. How did he manage to find the cave? Was Alfred watching illegal streams on max volume again? When I arrived, it was too late. Alfred had already been beaten to death by Bane. If I didn't stop to fool around with Firefly, he would now be alive. Who cares about all the people on the bridge? It's their fault that they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. As I stood over Alfred's corpse, I got yet another goddamn flashback of my goddamn parents. Why do they always have to make everything about themselves? I can't even arrive into my cave without having a flashbacks of those idiots. Why do I have to suffer all my life because they were idiots and decided to cross Crime Alley? You know what? I'll do something for Alfred that I never did for you, mom and dad, and I'll actually save his life even though he's already dead. I can do that apparently because I'm Batman. I will even revive him in such a good condition that he wouldn't even have to go to the hospital. In fact, he will be in such a good shape that he doesn't even need rest. He can just continue helping me. I had to go back after the Joker because apparently he started a second riot in Blackgate prison. And all I'm gonna say is that either the guards are paid in the millions or they should definitely look into other career options because this is only the second riot of tonight. Who knows how many riots happen monthly? I easily dealt with the riot because I feel like in this game, unlike with the others, enemies don't really get that much stronger, so even though I am as strong as I was at the beginning of the game, the enemies are pretty much in the same position as well, so only the amount of the enemies changes, which makes dealing with them very easy. I then saved the life of Dr. Harleen Quinzel, who was suspiciously chill about getting kidnapped and tied up by a bunch of henchmen with guns. I then went to the bedroom, and if the inmates actually sleep in those conditions, I don't blame them if they riot all the time. Then I had the second fight with Bane, and to be honest, this one seemed easier than the first one, maybe because I already had gotten used to his moves, or maybe it was just easier in general, but I easily took care of him and he even had the audacity to die, so I had to save his life as well, just like I did with Alfred. Hear that, mom and dad? I even saved the life of a supervillain before I saved yours. Did that decision backfire immediately? Yeah. I got absolutely annihilated and Bane decided to ruin his life and inject himself with the Titan formula, but hey, at least I saved his life. The Titan Bane fight probably was the easiest fight of the whole game because that guy is an idiot. I am literally standing next to him and he can't even reach me. So I destroyed him and then Batman decided to be brain dead for a while and started talking with Alfred for no reason right next to Bane. So naturally, Bane caught me and threw me against the wall violently and then punched me through the wall. Are we seriously sure that cutscene Batman is not just Superman in disguise, because there is no way that in-game Batman dies from a few punches from random crooks and then takes that in a cutscene and is fine. And with Bane defeated, all that was left was take down the Joker, which was extremely easy because for the most part he's just a normal guy, so he is very weak compared to Batman. And with that we completed the main story of the game, but we still had a few loose ends to complete. Those were the Riddler challenges, and I'm happy to confirm that for the first time in this series, we actually managed to deal with the Riddler. Maybe that's just because it's our first meeting and he wasn't ready for what Batman could offer, but I'll still happily take the Riddler trophy. Another thing to do was the case files, which were extremely easy and you don't need any upgrades to do them as well. And finally capturing the escaped Blackgate prisoners, which is just beat up a bunch of enemies and interrogate the prisoner and tell him that the cops are coming for him. Needless to say, you don't need any upgrades to do that as well, meaning that we have completed the whole game without using any upgrades, which means that we have successfully completed the challenge. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like it and subscribe to the channel. I make new gaming challenges every week. And if you want to see more Batman challenges, you will find them in the description of the video or by browsing through the channel. That's all for today, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!